Good afternoon, everyone. We are live at Pine Hollow Country Club for our weekly cooking class. Chef Phil is going to prepare crustless spinach quiche and also cinnamon buns with sugar icing. So with that, take it away, Phil.
Alrighty. Can't see everyone, but I hope everyone's doing well at home. Hello once again for our second cooking class, cooking demo with Pine Hollow Country Club members. It's always a pleasure. So for today, we're going to start off with the cinnamon buns, and that's going to be optional to do the sugar icing. You don't have to. We could do other toppings. So let's everybody turn to your cinnamon bun recipe, and we're going to start off with the yeast and milk mixture. It says in the recipe, water. In the method, I made a mistake, it was a typo, so it is milk. Okay, so the milk is warm. In preparation for the yeast to be added to that, you'll make sure the milk is brought up to temperature. You could do that in a little small sauce pot or in the microwave. Okay, so with that, I like to put the yeast in. Doesn't really matter, but you can put the yeast in first, or you can put the milk in and float the yeast on top of the milk. But this way you kind of get it incorporated already.
While he's doing that, sorry to interrupt, if you have any questions that you want to ask Phil, just type it in on Facebook Live here, and Brock is on with us. So we'll ask the question to Phil if you guys have anything.
Yes, feel free to chime in. I know everyone will have some questions because it's not the best visual. So I will do my best at explaining it. All right, so right now we're just going to take a spoon. We're going to stir the yeast around with the milk. Okay, we'll stir the milk around with the yeast. Okay, it is whole milk. You could add something else as almond milk or soy milk. You may have a little difference in the quality of the cinnamon buns, only because of the fat content. All right, so if you added soy or almond or fat-free milk, but at this point, eating a cinnamon bun, I wouldn't worry about the fat content so much. I would leave the milk. Okay, so from there, all right, so we're gonna do the eggs. Next step, step 2, eggs, sugar, salt, and butter. Okay, the butter is melted. Okay, all right, in no specific order. You can just put everything right in the bowl. Okay. All right, the eggs are whole eggs. They do not have to be beaten. All right, we have the milk. The butter is a little creamy. It's a little cold in here, so it solidified again, which is okay. It does not have to be completely melted, as long as you can work it into the batter. Okay? Instead of, it says a wooden spoon, you can use a spatula, you can use a spatula, a wooden spoon, a metal spoon, anything you have at home will be fine. Okay? So you're going to mix this briefly, just until it's all incorporated. Just make sure to scrape down the sides. Okay? Then from there, you're going to do the milk and yeast mixture. Okay, again, scrape down the sides, make sure you get everything in there. If you leave the yeast behind, you may have issues with it not leavening as much. Okay, so here we go.
We have one question. Did you mix the yeast into the milk?
Yes, that was the first step. When you turn back to the video, I believe we can all save the video for later. Earlier, that was the first step. I incorporated the yeast with the milk in that little bowl. It's hard to see, so yes, to your question. You always want to incorporate yeast with another wet ingredient warm temperature, like a lukewarm or even a tad bit hotter, in order to dissolve the yeast. It's very important that you dissolve the yeast. Okay, and again, you can take this mixture that we have here, and if you see lumps of yeast, you press it with the rubber spatula against the sides. And that is the benefit of the rubber spatula. It'll fold and bend to the contour of the bowl to help you dissolve the yeast. Okay? From there, we're going to grab a bigger bowl. Okay? So my head's about a little bit above average size, so there you go. There's the bowl, size of the bowl. We're going to put all the flour into the bowl. I like to make a well in the middle. You don't have to. The well in the middle is more for the sake of if you're doing it on the table and the batter does not travel everywhere and make a mess. But once you learn one way, you try to stick with that. Okay. So here, take that rubber spatula, make sure you get everything out and your bowl is nice and clean. Okay, from there, we're going to incorporate the egg mixture with the flour to form the first stage of the dough.
What kind of flour?
All-purpose high gluten flour is fine, or any standard all-purpose flour that you have at home. If you don't have it, and you have some other flour, like a bread flour, or something specific that you bought at one point, you can use it. The only difference you will have is the texture of the dough. So if you do a cake flour, you may have a softer cinnamon bun, which is a good thing for some people. Okay, so now that it's all incorporated, now I'm going to use my hands. Okay, so it looks kind of almost like crumbly, all right, like a streusel mixture. All right, we're going to now fold it, knead it. Okay, at this point, you can lightly flour your table at home, your cutting board, and you can fold it out onto the cutting board or table in order to give you a little bit more space to work with. But for demo purposes and not to dirty the cooktop, we're going to leave it in the bowl. Okay, so from here, just keep kneading it. Now it's very important when you knead, and I'll take it out of the bowl for this purpose. Okay, here's the dough. When you knead it, you want to kind of get up on top of the dough, both hands around the dough, and push down. As you push down, the dough will move to the forward, to the front, and the other half of the dough will move to the back, and you fold it over, back into the dough. Again, you push down, you fold it over. Then you take the dough, you turn it, fold it over, knead it in, and keep kneading it in that fashion. Okay, turn it again. The purpose is to keep the dough round and to incorporate all the ingredients throughout the dough. Okay, so right here again, as it starts to become elongated, I turn it. Okay, then once you're finishing up, again, you should be mixing this, kneading it until for about 6 to 8 minutes, getting everything very well incorporated. And then I like to just kind of round it out. All right, so we'll turn it. You can hold it just like that, cup your hands around the dough, and just move in a circular motion. All right, and that will round your dough. That's a traditional, standard rounding method for dough. Okay, so you would transfer that into any dinner rolls you were doing, or any type of big round country loaf breads. All right, so here we go. We have a nice round dough, very similar to the shape of a pizza dough ball. All right, we'll place it back into the bowl. From there, take a little spray at home, nonstick spray. If you don't have any, you can just lightly coat it with salad oil, canola oil. Stay away from any flavored oils like olive oil. Then you'll incorporate that flour into the cinnamon rolls. Okay, so from there, take a piece of plastic wrap, and you're going to put it, or it could be a damp towel. A damp towel is always nice, helps to keep the moisture in. All right, but you want to make sure that it's around the dough. Okay, not just covering the bowl. Okay, so from there, now you'll take that dough, place it on the counter or in a warmer spot. Even if you're cooking at home and your oven's on, you can place it near the oven, not on it, and make sure it's in a nice warm area. It'll rise for the next hour and a half. If you feel it's not ready, it hasn't reached double in size or like 1.5 times its size, you can allow it to go a little longer. All right, so now from there, this is the second stage of the dough. So now we look like a pizza dough that's ready. That's about equivalent to the size of a pizza dough that you'd see in any type of pizzeria. I'm sure we've all come across it at one point. From there, it's about, I'd say about 7 to 8 inches in diameter, okay, to help you along with gauging how big the dough should look. From there, we're going to roll it out, okay? I like to push it down a little bit, all right? Turn it over, okay? Now, it's got a nice amount of grease on there, so I'm just gonna, for safety reasons, not safety as far as not getting hurt, but just so it doesn't stick to the table, I'll spray it a little more, okay? And then we're going to roll it out. So everybody has to have a rolling pin. I didn't put it in the method as far as having the equipment, but I would imagine most people have a rolling pin. If you don't, you could take maybe if you have a plastic wrap or an aluminum foil, you can take a tube out of there, use that as a roller. Okay, even a wine bottle works. Anything that's round and has a little bit of weight to it will be great. Okay, so now we're going to take it, we're going to fold it over. Now we're going to roll this dough out to about a 1/4 inch thickness. Okay, how's that look? That looks good. Yeah. Okay, so from there, make sure when you roll, you start always from the middle. If you roll the edges, you're going to have a fat middle and a thin edge. So you always want to push down in the center and roll it out. That's why it is also important to have a greased tabletop or cutting board. So this way the dough can move. Otherwise it'll stick and you won't have the dough evenly spread out, flattened out. So from there, you want to make sure it's somewhat of a rectangle. Doesn't have to be perfect, but this kind of oblong, uneven shape is fine, just as long as it's not too crazy. All right, you want to have it a little even. From there, we'll finish it up. Okay. Now we're going to take butter that's softened to melted. All right, so it's a little gooey, if you want to say. All right, we're going to just lather up the dough all the way to the edge. Lather it up nicely. Okay, now is not the time to be cheap with the butter. We don't want to conserve butter. We don't want to worry about calories at this point. I want to worry about flavor. Okay?
On a side note, we have plenty of butter at the Pine Hollow Pantry, so email Phil.
Yes.
your requests if you need anything.
Butter, salt, butter unsalted, butter salted. We have margarine, we have everything. So I encourage every one of our members to take advantage of the program. I can get you anything, just about anything. All of our vendors are pretty well stocked to about 80 to 90% capacity. I will get back to you immediately for the most part, letting you know if I can get you the products you desire. So from there, I'm going to take the cinnamon sugar mixture, okay? This is when you sprinkle the dough generously.
Do you salted or unsalted?
Yeah, Chef, we have one more
Sorry?
question. Do you use salted or unsalted butter? for
Unsalted
this?
butter. Always unsalted for me because you can always add salt. Pastries are always any type of pastry product or dough that you want to make is unsalted. In cooking, always unsalted. You never want to have salt in your products because then at the end when you add your salt, you'll add the wrong amount most likely. Okay, so from here we're going to now just pour the rest of the sugar around, and now with my hand I can work it to the edge. I'm just doing it slow in order not to make a big mess. All right, but you can just go crazy with it, spread it all around. Okay, now from here, this is where we roll it into the cinnamon bun that you're all accustomed to. Okay, so you'll do it like a jelly roll. All right, we're all familiar with the jelly roll for the most part. You're gonna take the dough, okay, with your thumbs, just kind of pick up the edge, flick it a little bit, get it worked up until it folds over, just like a wave, come crashing down, right? So it's folding over, then you take the edge of that dough, pinch it, and when you're pinching, always pull back. Again, now with your hands out like this, like webbed feet, you push about 1 inch at a time. Then you tighten up the jelly roll. Okay, tucking it, and then again, roll it and keep tucking. Very important to keep tucking and rolling. Another option I like at home for everybody is if you wanted to take the dough and transfer it to a parchment paper sheet, like a cookie sheet, or a piece of plastic wrap. You can transfer it. And then that'll help you by pulling the edges of the sheet or the plastic wrap to help you roll it. Okay, so once it takes its shape, you can go a little faster and you can keep tucking, okay, until you have a nice jelly roll shape. All right, so long tube. All right, so from there, as a chef, as a pastry chef, we like to trim off the edges, make it neat. But at home, I would say you use everything. Don't waste it. That's good. Okay, so we're going to cut in the middle first. Okay. All right, this way, when you cut in the middle, you can measure outwards to have evenly cut pieces. Okay, so I'm going to now cut it in half again. All right. Then we're going to cut it in half again. Okay, this helps to keep everything even. All right. So now with the cast iron pan or a nice baking dish that you have at home, doesn't have to be cast iron, okay, you're going to spray it down. All right, so any type of cake pan, cast iron pan, casserole dish, anything that can go in the oven is fine, it's acceptable. So here we go, this is what it looks like inside. Brian, would you mind?
Sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Not that anybody's gonna eat it here, but, you know, for sanitary purposes. Thank you, Brian. All right, so we're gonna take that, we're gonna put the nice side face up, okay? You don't wanna push it down too much, but you wanna tap it down a little bit, okay? The rolls are not going to fill up the pan, so you're gonna space them out, okay? So right in here, you can just lightly tap it down, so it has a nice surface, sturdy surface to sit, okay? All right, just like so. Make sure the edges are tucked in nice and they're attached to the dough. Otherwise, they'll open up a little bit, which is not a big deal. Okay, and we're going to keep doing that right along down the roll. Okay? Okay, and you'll have 6 of them around. 7 of them around is better rather than stuffing the middle, okay? So we'll do 7 around and 1 in the middle. That's 8 sections. So you'll have 8 nice large cinnamon buns. I would suggest to keep them this size. You can always split them after they're cooked and share and cut them in half or in quarters, but this way they won't dry out, they'll stay nice and moist, okay? And from here, we're going to cover them with plastic wrap, and again, sit them back on your counter or in a nice warm area, and let them proof again for another hour and a half. So from there, clean our surface. Okay. All right. Okay. Then from there, what's the sugar icing? Well, this is the one that's ready to go in, so let's do that. Okay, so now after about an hour and a half, give or take, all depends on the temperature of your room and your kitchen. Okay, this is what they'll look like. Okay, so if you notice, the buns have all come together. They're sticking together. They're very nice, very fluffy, very airy. Okay, you're going to have a preheated oven. Okay, and you're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Okay, actually, I'll just leave this here in case anybody did not get to see it. All right. Okay, hopefully you can see it a little bit, maybe. All right, so from there, they'll go in the oven to preheated at 400 degrees. Okay, and that's going to be for about 50 minutes or so. Okay, nothing's perfect. You know, at 50 minutes, you want to open your door, check the buns. It should be a nice golden brown, little deep color, golden. Okay, from there, pull them out and set them aside, and we're going to make the sugar icing. Okay, the sugar icing, very simple. I'm sure every mom across America has tried this at one point or another. It's not a difficult recipe, and it doesn't need anything to be exact. So you just take a spoon, you can take a little wire whisk at home, anything you'd like. Take a little bit of water, cold, warm, doesn't matter. I just would suggest recommend not using hot water, okay? Take maybe 2 cups of powdered sugar, 10x, okay? Pour the water in sparingly. You don't need a lot of water, okay? So I used about that much water. So about 1/4 of this little milk bottle, I'd say, is about 2 ounces. Okay. From there, you're going to dissolve it. Okay, you're going to get some clumps in there. Just keep working it. It will dissolve. And it's okay if it doesn't all dissolve. It doesn't have to be completely dissolved. Okay. All right, so due to miracles, We have one that's cooked already. Okay, Brian, would you mind? All right, so that's a nice deep bronze, I guess for argument's sake, color, golden brown. Okay, the buns are nice and soft. Okay, beautifully cooked. All right, you like it nice and brown like that on top to make it a little crispier have a little bit of a crust to the cinnamon bun. All right, so now what we're going to do is, this is the fun part. You don't have to be careful or specific in any way. Just take the sugar icing and go all around your cinnamon buns. Okay, pretty much used everything in that bowl. And then from there, just rotate your pan in a nice circle. Okay? You can even take a brush, lather them up from there. Completely cover the buns. I like sugar icing on my buns. Okay, so from there, that is the way it should look. Completely covered. If you want to cover it completely without any gaps, take a pastry brush and just lather it all up. Okay, from there, cut them into eight portions. You don't have to cut them, but separate them into nice portions. Serve them out on a nice platter. Cut them up into quarters, halves, depending on how many people you have. It's an awesome cinnamon bun and great for breakfast, nice Sunday brunch. Okay. From there, we're going to move into the spinach, crustless spinach quiche recipe. Okay, this is quick and easy. All right, so I have a nice copper pan. Doesn't have to be a copper pan. It could be a saute pan. It could be a pot. It could be pretty much anything you have at home. All right, just big enough to hold the amount of onions and spinach from the recipe. Okay? So, while the pan is getting hot, which shouldn't take all that long, we're going to start with the first ingredient. The first ingredient is the chopped spinach. Okay? Once it's defrosted, it has a lot of water in there. So you want to get all that water out. We're going to take a china cap. Okay? If you don't have a china cap, which you don't need one, that's what I grabbed because it fits nicely in the bain-marie. Okay? You can take a pasta colander, strainer, any type of basket you have that's like a sieve at home, as long as you can work the spinach, the water out of the spinach. Okay? You're going to put that into it. Okay? So from there, we're going to push down. Always use your knuckles. Okay? Make a fist. Use your index finger and your middle finger knuckles. Pushing down. Then pick it all up. Loosen it up. Fold it over. And then start pushing again. This way it helps to get all the water out. Alright, so that's it. All the water's out. Okay, we're going to leave that to the side. Actually, I'm just going to grab my bowl. Put it back in. Okay, beautiful. We can get rid of this. You can save the spinach water if you prefer. And you can use it for cooking at dinner time when you're doing anything like a ratatouille or any type of sauteed vegetables, and you can use that spinach broth to enhance the flavor of your mixed vegetables. Okay? There's always a way to utilize your product in the kitchen. Okay, so that's good. Nice and dry. Okay? From there, we're going to put some salad oil or olive oil. Either one is fine. Into the pan. Okay. There we go. We're having technical difficulties. This is So from there, while we're waiting on a stove, I'm gonna get a portable stove. Seems like this is not working. Actually, it probably is working, I just realized. The copper is not.
You want me to get one?
Yes, please. So we're getting the stainless steel. The copper is not good for the induction burner. This is supposed to be an induction burner that doesn't need an induction pan, but copper is acting as a inhibitor to the heat. Okay, so we're gonna move forward. Okay, we're gonna take all the ingredients right here. So we have the chopped onion, we have the spinach. Okay. One medium onion, just nice diced, small to medium dice. If you want, like if you don't want to notice the onions so much in your quiche, just cut them smaller. You could even mince them. It's personal preference at this point. Okay, so I'm going to put all the ingredients here. All right. Okay. Okay, so just take a, I'll try that one. Nice, okay, perfect. Okay, so right here, we have a nice omelet pan, okay, 10-inch saute pan. I'm going to use that. That works perfectly, and this is actually an induction pan, okay? The weight on it is different, everything's different. So we're going to take this bowl, okay? Leave everything there. The bowl is going to be used to mix the spinach and the onions after they're cooked. All right? So, I always reach for the butter. I like butter. But we don't use butter here at Pine Hollow, so don't misconstrue. All right, so a little bit of oil. All right, just enough to coat the pan. A little bit extra maybe. All right, so with that, I did use olive oil and salad oil blend. So if you have a 90-20, I mean a 90-10, 80-20, 75-25 blend is even better. Otherwise, just take some olive oil and salad oil and mix it all together. Okay. So from there, we're going to mix the onions around. Okay, so for time restraints, we're going to cook this just for a little bit. Ideally, you want to cook it for about 6 to 7 minutes until your onions are translucent, clear. Okay, you want to see them. Try not to get any brownness. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to brown your onions a little bit, feel free. It will not interrupt or mess up the recipe at all. Okay? So from there, all right? And actually, because this is so hot and such a great burner, we have a little bit of color. And there's nothing better than a little bit of caramelization in your vegetables. So from there, I would normally let it cook the rest of the way, but I want you to see it. So we're going to take the spinach. Now the spinach is in there. Okay. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any steps. Okay, good. What you want to do is now incorporate the onions with the spinach. And if there is any leftover or residual water, you want to make sure you cook it all out. Make sure it evaporates. Okay? Mix it all in. Make sure all the clumps of spinach, you break them up. Okay? And you have a nice mixture. All right? Waste not, want not. All right. So from there, I'm going to shut it off. In that bowl, bring it right back. We're going to take the rest of the ingredients. Okay, it's the 5 eggs. Salt and pepper. You can measure it out. You can sprinkle it over. If you measure it, it's about a half a teaspoon. You can always taste it. You're not going to get sick from the raw eggs. but you can always taste the batter a little bit, just to give yourself an idea of how much salt is in there. Okay? So with this, I like to use a spoon to scramble up the eggs. You can use a whisk, you can use anything you like, just as long as you whip up the eggs. Okay, take your cheese. This is 2 cups of cheese, good amount. Okay, to back it up, the spinach for this recipe calls for 10 ounces, and that's before it's drained. Okay, so it's a 10-ounce package. I added about 1 ounce to 2 ounces more spinach, just because I like extra spinach. So you can do that at home. You can add a little more spinach, about another couple of ounces. This recipe will hold. And you can also add other vegetables. You can do a little roasted pepper, some artichokes. Just pull back on the amount of spinach. Okay. Now the other thing that may be a question for you at home is, where's the milk, where's the cream? You can add 1 to 2 ounces of milk or cream in this recipe. It will not alter the recipe in a negative way. It actually enhances it. I choose to do it this way because we like to be a little bit more health conscious here at Pine Hollow. But this is about 2 ounces of milk. You can put that in. It will not hurt the recipe at all. Okay, incorporate that. You put the salt and pepper. All right, and that's your mixture. Okay. And you leave it all in the bowl. Okay. Don't put any on the floor when you try to show your neighbor or somebody. Okay. From there, this spinach is hot, so if you want to cool it down a little bit, that's okay. If you don't, be aware that this is hot. It's going into a cold mixture, and the eggs can curdle. Okay, they can cook if you put the hot spinach mixture in there. So what I like to do is take 1 spoonful, drop it in, and right away mix it around. Okay, so you want to incorporate it. That will help to temper the egg mixture. Okay. If you ever see the word liaison in a recipe, that's what this is. We're making the liaison. Okay, so in a sense, you're tempering the eggs. All right, so very important. You do not want to cook your eggs. Okay, so from there, again, another spoonful. Mix it around. Okay, there's no rhyme or reason. You can do this in any amounts you want. It doesn't have to be a spoonful, it doesn't have to be a half. It's just better. You can dump it all in at once, but make sure you mix it quickly in order to prevent it from cooking the eggs. Okay? All right, so from here, it's all nicely incorporated. You'll see a lot of spinach. Okay, that should be better. All right, so that's the way it's going to look. Almost like you're making a spinach feta pie. Okay, it'll look predominantly engulfed in spinach. All right, so from there, I'm going to take a pie dish, casserole dish, cake pan, anything that's roughly 8, 9, 10 inches. 9 to 10 inches works best. All right. Again, a little bit of spray. Okay. Now with the spray, you can put it, you can be a little generous with it so it doesn't stick. When you do take it out of the oven, the edges will be bubbling. That's only the spray. It's not like fat or oil. You don't have to worry. You can just blot it, dampen, dot it with the paper towel in order to get rid of all of the grease, the spray. So from there, okay, I'm just going to pour the mixture. Take your rubber spatula, or even better, a bowl scraper, if you have one at home. Okay, most of us have a rubber spatula, works perfectly. Okay, and you're going to get everything out. All right, so from there, it's all in here. So what I like to do is just smooth it out, work it all to the edges, turn it around. Again, work it all to the edges. You have a nice spinach and cheese quiche, crustless, right there, okay? All right, from there, you're gonna have your oven preheated. So we always start a recipe by preheating our oven. Other than a cinnamon dough or a dough that needs to have time to proof. We don't wanna have the oven running all day, but roughly 10 to 15 minutes before you're placing your product, your item in the oven, you want to preheat your oven, okay? So from there, your oven, 350 at home. If you have a convection oven, you can do 350, just, it might get a little bit browner on top. I personally like that for this quiche, but the general rule for a convection to a conventional oven is 25 degrees of separation, okay? If it's convection, set it at 325 to be safe. But I did this at 350 and it works just fine. So here we go, we put it in the oven. It was exactly 30 minutes, okay? And this is the end product, the end result. Nice, crispy, brown spinach crustless quiche. Crustless spinach quiche, however you want to call it. What I do like about this doneness is that it has no crust, so that the golden brown or the deep tone of brown acts as a crust, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to flip this out. You can take a plate, okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I don't have a plate, so I'm just going to use the saute pan. Turn it over just so it doesn't drop out. Okay? And guess what? It's not coming out. So we're going to take a rubber spatula, okay? And just going to work it. Alright? No big deal. Actually makes it easier. And then I just slide it out. Okay? Thought I wasn't going to get it out. All right, so there you go. Okay, we can put it right onto a cutting board. All right, I use the saute pan as a plate. Okay. And then from there, you're going to just take your knife and cut it into 6 or 8 portions. If you do it in 8, cut it right in half, and then in half, and then keep cutting everything in half. If you want to do it in 6 portions, that's where it gets a little tricky. You make an X in front of you, right? So the left side, right side, make an X, and then right down the middle, okay, from end to end, you'll have nice 6 even, nicely cut pieces. All right, so sharp knife. If you do not have a sharp knife, use a serrated knife. Otherwise, you'll break the quiche and you'll alter the presentation of it. Okay? So again, everything, just keep cutting everything in half. Is essentially what you're doing. All right? So from there, nice beautiful spinach, crustless spinach quiche. Okay? And you can do a little, if you wanted to, you can use this as a lunch item. Okay? Do a little salad on the side, nice baby arugula, okay? With some fresh cherry tomatoes. All right, there you go. You can also do this in a muffin pan, okay? So it does have some variation to it that you can apply, a couple of different variations you can apply. Putting it in a muffin tin and you can make individual ones that way. So you can just serve them almost like a souffle it'll look like when it's done. Okay, this will probably make nice, 6 nice spinach and cheese muffin size quiche. All right, and then you can fatten yourself up a little bit with a beautiful cinnamon bun. Okay, and this is the way the cinnamon bun looks after it's done. These are better than most. Okay, it's pretty much an easy recipe. It's not too difficult. Just be patient with it and try not to rush it along. The proofing is key. Okay. With that, you have a little bit of protein. You stayed healthy. Now you earned yourself a little dessert. Okay. From there, I think that's about it. Any questions? Feel free to chime in.
Yep, we're gonna open up right now. If you guys have any questions, just type it in here, and then we'll answer them. I'll give you guys a couple minutes.
Okay, so from there, again, that's the way it looks. The cinnamon buns, you can also do some poached raisins over the top. So you can poach raisins in a simple syrup, sugar and water. Just poach them and plump them up with water, warm or hot. Take raisins, put them in a pan, a little bit of water, boil it, shut it down, let them rehydrate. And then you can add a little maple syrup in there to sweeten them up if it's just plain water. From there you can toast some pecans, crumble them up in a chop with your knife or a Robocube, a food processor. Put that mixture over the top, almost like a sticky bun. Okay. I prefer sugar icing. Sucker for sugar icing. Spinach quiche, again, they're limitless. It's limitless what you can do with it. You can do a salad. You can do a piece of grilled chicken on the side. This could be your all-in-one plate, and add some extra meat to it or protein for a heartier lunch. That's it.
All right, it looks like that there is no questions, so either Phil did a great job or we lost you probably about 40 minutes ago. We are going to advertise the next 2 weeks today what we are going to have for recipes.
Yes.
So Phil might have a teaser of what we're going to offer, or maybe we'll keep it as a surprise.
Teaser is, we're going to keep it a surprise.
Okay, so we're going to work on the recipes, in other words, in 10 minutes. I just want to also encourage the members of Pine Hollow then to utilize the Pine Hollow Pantry. That's starting to take off on Monday. At what time? 10 a.m. They can, or you can, email Phil at phil@pinehollowcc.org to place your Pine Hollow Pantry order. And we obviously sent out a template on that, but like Phil said, we pretty much can get you anything that you were looking for. But
brands will be, received a couple of questions about brands. We are acquiring products not brand specific, so meaning per the member. It's the brands we are used to carrying. You may not use that brand. We will do our best to acquire that brand, but options are limited due to the crisis we're experiencing. So I guess we can just, I'll email you what we do have per your question about the brand.
Thank you. And it will be contactless delivery. So we encourage you to use the front entrance, have your trunk completely empty, pop your trunk. Barack and myself will be out there on Wednesday with gloves and a mask to keep everybody safe. In addition to Chef Phil's recipes, we are going to incorporate a featured drink of the week. I know everybody's quarantined and kind of going a little nutty, so this should kind of break up the monotony, so look for that. So with that, have an excellent, excellent day, and catch us next time, same time, next Saturday at noon, Facebook Live. Have a great day, guys.